Okay, looks like we're live. My 13th anniversary live stream. Let's see who's here. Hello, Brett and Fox of Fate and Luke.
Okay,
I did that again. How did that even happen? Anyway, I will pop out the chat so I can see what everyone is up to easily. And happy birthday to Luke. You're sharing well, it's not exactly my YouTube channel's birthday, but it's very close. So we'll just say that my YouTube channel and Luke share a birthday. My YouTube channel's a teenager now, 13. Everything that brings with it. I mean, just... Hey, Justin, how you doing? And my chiropractor... Not chiropractor, what do I say chiropractor? They're fucking quacks. Physiotherapist. Did my physio appointment earlier than normal tonight, so I could be here. Hi, Shadow Eyes and Belinda. Hello to you. I'm a little blue heaven. Yes, Luke. Yeah, so YouTube itself's only like 14. So YouTube had been around for about a year when I started. This is funny. I've been talking about doing a podcast for years. People have been suggesting I do it, and I sort of did an experiment with AngryAussie and just uploaded it yesterday. A pilot for our proposed podcast, and that's been well received. So we'll be doing one. Hey, Redis Scorpion. Yeah, it's very funny. Initially, I've told my origin story a few times. I started off with a written blog, and I set myself a challenge because I always felt like I didn't commit to things and didn't follow through with things. I set myself a challenge to post at least one thing, at least something to the blog every day for a year. And I achieved that. I called the blog Angry 365 days a year. And then I had built up a bit of a following on the blog. And actually my intention was to work out material to use in live stand-up. I wanted to give live stand-up a go. And I've been doing it for, I had a bit of a following, and my regulars knew that this was planned to be performance material. And people were suggesting that I record it as a podcast. They go, that'd be like a trial. You could record a podcast. I thought, yeah, I could do that. And then I got broadband internet for the first time, and YouTube was just getting big. So I thought, I'll leapfrog from print and I'll go right past audio and go straight to video. And so that's how I started YouTube. Ironically, if I'd started a podcast, I would have been a real old school podcaster. Yes. Hello, Haruhi and Jippy Jalopy and Noog. But yes, so yes, I haven't officially got a podcast on podcasting platforms yet, but I did record an hour of AngryAussie and me talking, which the intention is to put the audio up on a platform. But also, learning as someone, people point out I speak much more loudly than AngryAussie. We're actually conscious of this, and he keeps pledging to talk louder, and I pledge to talk more quietly, and it never works out. So we have to work out something different with the microphone. Fax Over Fields, hello, and thank you. So yeah, I do want to get this podcast off and running. I just now need to learn the technical bits of uploading the audio to podcast platforms. What the fuck I have to do for that? I can start doing that. Interestingly, I actually set up a Patreon a couple of weeks ago because Patreon were going to change the deal they offered creators to a much shittier deal, but people who had signed up before the change got grandfathered and they got to keep the original deal. So although I haven't publicized it, I did actually set up a Patreon profile so I'd get the original deal. And what I was thinking is I might start to promote that. So yeah, I've never bothered with Patreon or asking people because I have a job, I have a day job. AngryAussie doesn't. So I was thinking, and virtually the only thing holding us back from doing the podcast all the time and lots of videos is AngryAussie's health, and it's hard for him to get across on public transport, and it's not always practical for me to go over to his place, like drive over to his place, because I have family things and he's the other side of town, and driving over there, doing this stuff and driving back, but basically wipes out most of a day, and that's not always practical with my family. So what I was thinking of, if we get this thing rolling, is set up the podcast and have the Patreon for pay for AngryAussie's taxi, essentially. Use that money to pay for taxis for AngryAussie to come over here to record videos and podcasts. So I might do that. Hey, Proper Wolfie, thank you. It is crazy, 13 years. Oh, yes, and no, I did work out because you got the same icon. So I assumed it was Tendai there. Your more usual username is Nug or something similar. Fair enough. Luke, how much is the taxi trip? I don't know. I could find that on a site. Justin, we told our origin story on the podcast video, and you can find there, although we met because we did the same uni course. My final year was AngryAussie's first year, but we did the same theatre course in Bathurst, west of Sydney. And then we didn't see each other for 20 years. And then he was directing comedy shows. And I was seeing one show at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. And he had a show in the next room. And he saw me in the line and said, hey, I know you. I'm going to do an estimate of a taxi fare. Okay, estimate taxi fare from, where does he live, Northcote or thereabouts, to, wow, I'm fucking this up. I'm mistyping all over the place. Northcote, Caulfield. Okay, Caulfield taxi, okay. Okay, different ride services are saying 27.38, 28.37, yeah, so Melbourne taxi fare rates. Justin, is AT entitled to NDIS? I don't know. Calculate amount from Northcote to, that'll do, High Street Northcote to Caulfield. Let's see. So we're going to do this on a Sunday at middle of the day, 12. Estimated taxi fare. There you go. 33 to 47. So single transport seems to can vary anywhere between $30 and $50. So Belinda, yes, $100 return. So yeah, I guess that's what we'd be aiming for. Biggest is a figure of speech, second largest population-wise. I think, I read somewhere Townsville's the most spread out city in Australia. It's sparsely populated, but its boundaries are very spread out. Yeah, I might do the Patreon thing saying like, well, I don't need money because I have a job, but make the Patreon essentially for AngryAussie, pay for AngryAussie's taxi fare. That's $100 each time. And, ideally we do it $400 4 times a month. So I suppose the target would be get it up to 400 or 500. That's it, Brett. Mount Isa. I knew it was somewhere up in North Queensland. Mount Isa is the largest by area. So yeah, if we did that, we'd be targeting $500 a month on the Patreon. That's maybe something to do. We'll get the podcast up and running. We'll get a couple episodes under our belt. And then I'm going to start getting guests. I'm going to get my friends. 2 things have held me back from starting a podcast. One, and this will sound very strange to my detractors in particular, but one reason is is basically my ego isn't enough, and is the whole thing trying to be convinced that people actually wanted to hear me do one. The second is I didn't want it to be just white guys talking. And while AngryAussie actually does have Indigenous heritage, yeah, to general appearances, we're white guys talking. But I'll get friends. I've got diverse friends. I'll get diverse friends to be guests. Rottweiler dude, if I had the opportunity to fly into UFO with space. So if I understand that correctly, you're saying if aliens with a really advanced spaceship came down and landed and said, come travel the stars with us, would I go? It would be very difficult to resist. I mean, there's a few reasons not to go, and that's mainly my family, but it would be very difficult to resist. Then you find their book that says, is called How to Serve Man. And you think, oh, they want to serve us. And then you work out it's a cookbook. Oh, no. Justin, with the NDIS, what are you suggesting, that the NDIS might cover taxi fares for recreational purposes? I'm not sure what you're saying there. Hey, Catherine, you don't have to apologize for missing this, especially if you're on the bus. I don't place expectations on anyone to be here for a particular time. Yes, Brett, an alien would tick a diversity box for my podcast. Oh yes, Luke with the old school Simpsons reference. How to cook for 40 humans. Yes, that Halloween special Simpsons with the aliens cooking them is a reference to a very old science fiction short story, How to Serve Man. And that was the payoff lines, these people with aliens, and they find a book and he's working on translating. He says, the book appears to be called How to Serve Man. And they go, well, that's a good start, that they want to be good to us and serve us. And the guy spent a bit long translating, goes, oh no, it's a cookbook. Cookbook. I see, Justin, if it was a blue police box, it's bigger on the inside and good travel time, you'd be able to do more stuff and not really be away from my family. So I'd be more inclined to do that with time travel. It's so yeah, it's an interesting question. Catherine, was originally a Twilight Zone? I don't believe so. I believe it was a short story. may have been adapted for the Twilight Zone. And in fact, you may be right. I wouldn't absolutely swear that it didn't originate on the Twilight Zone. I don't know the Twilight Zone that well, but I know I've read the short story, and I suspect that's the origin, a short story. I've always been really into science fiction, and I read a lot of short stories over the year. John Wyndham, who I read a lot of when I was young, most famous for Day of the Triffids, but John Wyndham's a really good short story writer. And another writer who I got into because he was writing some Star Wars adaptations, Alan Dean Foster, wrote a lot of original stuff, but I first came into contact with him because he was writing novelizations of Star Wars movies, and he did an unofficial non-canon sequel. It was like testing the waters. Star Wars itself was successful, but they didn't know how successful. They didn't know if they'd ever make a sequel. So Alan Dean Foster was commissioned to speculatively write a sequel. It's called Splinter of the Mind's Eye, and takes an absolutely divergent storyline compared to what happened in The Empire Strikes Back when that was eventually made. So it's funny, all the hardcore Star Wars nerds got upset when Lucasfilm Disney said the expanded universe is officially non-canon. But Splinter of the Mind's Eye is the original non-canon because it totally diverged from where the story went with Empire Strikes Back. So basically, The Empire Strikes Back immediately negated the first original Star Wars novel, Splinter of the Mind's Eye. But Alan Dean Foster, I brought him up because he's another really good short story. All right, he writes good novels, but he's a very good short story writer as well. I'm trying to remember who it was. It was either Alan Dean Foster or John Wyndham had one I quite liked. This guy basically acting very crazy to his friend in a pub, saying, "No, there's aliens, they're among us, right? They've got a third eye in the middle of the forehead, and they hide it, and they're watching us, and they're controlling us, and it's terrible." And the whole story is this guy unloading everything he thinks is evidence of the three-eye aliens, and his friend going, "Okay, buddy, good on you, good on you, good on you." And then the really antsy guy leaves, and his friend just watches him go. As he leaves, there's like his forehead wrinkles, and the third eye opens on his forehead. My God. You're right, Catherine. There were so many expanded universe books. There were dozens of them. Oh, hey, I got a mail call thing to do. This is from a friend of mine, like old school YouTube friend, someone I've been friends with on Web for ages, Diana. And she told me she lives at a place called Crested Butte, which I like, or Butte, maybe you pronounce it Butte, in Colorado. It's Butte. But she said she wanted a record of how I reacted to opening this. So I'm going to open it on the live stream. This, handily has an easy open thing, which didn't work. Okay, I had scissors here. Where do I have scissors? There they are. I can see my scissors there. Come on, scissors, come here. Justin, if I could travel back or forward in time, where would I travel to? My preference would be the future. I'm far more interested in where we might end up than where we've been. Ooh, it's a newspaper. It's the local news. Oh, yeah. Dana actually sent me this once before. Butte News. It's Butte News. Crested Butte News. And, what's on sale at the local shops in Crested Butte? Hardware store, Sears, hometown. They're selling fridges and stoves and power tools and outdoor furniture and ride-on lawnmowers. And what's the local supermarket called in Butte? What's the Butte supermarket? City Market. 99 cents a pound for ham. Asparagus, whole gold pineapple, $1.99. There you go. So the Butt supermarket is called the City Market. Chuck's always looking excited now, but how fucking good is that? Look at the tagline on the paper. It says it's got hearsay, conjecture, and economy-destroying opinions. How good is that? God, now I sound like Scott Morrison. Stop saying that. What's the front page stories? CMBR season passes now available with a few caveats. What's this? There's a teary-eyed person, and face it, it's over. School Superintendent John Nelson comforts CBCS principal Stephen Muir after breaking her the sad news. The CBCS building will be closed and converted to a snowcat garage for CS Irwin. Kids will now attend school in either Paonia or Marble. That can't be real. They must have, like, that guy's just going, fuck off, and she's crying. Like, that's super mean. That is super mean. Justin, you're going to send me a US primary ballot? I would like that. I'll vote. Kids will board buses from about 6 a.m. next year. Well, that's pretty fucked. Closing the Crested Butt Community School because of budget. And the kids have to travel a long way. What's CMBR season? Who's good with acronyms? Can you guess what CMBR is? Possible skis, early winter. How old is this? How old is this? Is April. Okay, April Fools 2013. This is an April Fools edition. Oh my God! But it's from 2013, which is really wild that she held on to it for this long. So, okay, that is a joke photo because it's April Fools. Crested Butt outdoor pool proposal shut down for lack of sprinklers. There's an ad. Okay, again, April Fool's thing, but there's an ad here for a shop called Madame Overy's Pre-Owned Diaper Emporium. Why buy new? Why gently used diapers undergo a rigorous 10-point inspection process to ensure only the highest quality pre-owned products end up in your closet? Got diapers to sell? Bring your gently used diaper to shop for a fair price. Ooh, a hooded denizen of the household slurping in. This is hilarious. Okay, another time, I'm gonna look at this in more detail and find the best April Fool's story out of that. No wonder Diana wanted me to open it on camera because there's fun stories to read out. Okay, it's a pity it didn't arrive on April Fool's Day. I could have used it. I might even make a special video dedicated to the best stories in this. I've got to read it. No, ghost trading the fridge. The spirits who want to be anonymous as they come in and out. So this is pretty chunky. This is all this for April Fool's Day. There's a classified section in the back. I don't know if they're legit classifieds or... Oh, I thought this was a horoscope. No, it's places to go and eat, which... Oh, no, here's... Okay, let's see if they've... Who can tell the difference between real horoscopes and joke horoscopes? Oh, no, these are joke ones. Okay. I'm going to read your horoscopes for you. Aries. I was too lazy to write a horoscope this week, so I went to a website that hawks bumper stickers and copied a few of their slogans to use as advice. Here you go. Never follow a rule off a cliff. Have the courage to honor your peculiarities. It's never too late to have a rebellious adolescence. Criticize by creating. Never make anything simple and efficient when it can be elaborate and wonderful. Complex problems have simple, easy to understand, morally clear, wrong answers. April Fool. I lied. I wasn't lazy at all. I worked hard to ensure that all the suggestions I just provided are in strict accordance with the astrological gestalt. Hey, Danger Mouse, thank you for the congratulations. Harry, this is a real place. This is a real place that my friend Diana lives in. Maxine, that's a big question. Where is Miss Foxification? She's usually in at the start, but not always. Sometimes actually she comes only for the last minute. Okay, who else says? Luke, you're June. Of course, because it's your birthday. So currently, of course, so that makes you Gemini. Okay, this is your official horoscope for your birthday, Luke. And hurry, I'll do Aquarius in a minute. But Gemini, the coming week will be an excellent time to wash dishes, clean bathrooms, scrub floors, vacuum carpets, wash windows, do laundry, clean the refrigerator. The more drudge work you do, the better you'll feel. April Fool, I lied. The truth is, you now have astrological license to minimize your participation in boring tasks like the one I named. It's high time for you to seek out the most interesting work and play possible. There you go. Who wants Aquarius? Okay. Your brain has a bigger capacity than you realize. According to Professor of Psychology, Paul Reber, it can hold the equivalent of 3 million hours worth of television shows. So I'm sure you know your brain's not even close to being full of that much data. And in accordance with the current astrological omens, I suggest you cram in as much new material as possible. April Fool, I told you a half-truth. While it's correct that now is an excellent time to pour more stuff into your brain, you should be highly discerning about what you allow in there. Seek out the richest ideas, the most stimulating information, best stories. Avoid trivial crap. Oh, Brett wants Pisces. Okay. Pisces you shall have, Brett. Where's Pisces? Pisces. July was a sad time in the history of mythic creatures. Will be. Okay? Because this is it. The National Ocean Survey, a US government agency, made a formal proclamation that there are no such things as mermaids. But I predict those stuffy know-it-alls will soon get a big shock when a Piscean scientist presents evidence that mermaids are indeed real. April Fool! I was exaggerating. I don't really foresee the discovery of flesh and blood mermaid by a Pisces or anyone else. I do, however, suspect that your tribe is now highly adept at extracting useful revelations and inspiration from dreams, visions, and fantasies, including at least one that involves a coven of Buddhist ninja clown mermaids, which is a nice thing. Facts over feels, avoid trivial crap in a horoscope. Yeah, there is some irony there. Wow. Oh, well, actually, speaking about stuff to TV to cram in your brain, who's been watching what lately? I watched the new Black Mirror, which I'm probably not as engaged with it as previous seasons, but I did enjoy the 3 episodes. I've started watching Chernobyl. I've only watched the first 2 episodes. Man, that's bleak as fuck, isn't it? Like really, really good, but just horrible and bleak. I've been watching season 2 of Happy on Netflix. It's on Sci-Fi in the US. Man, that's a very surreal. Yeah, no, I'll just stick with surreal. It's very non-naturalistic, and literally the first episode opens with nuns who've been kidnapped and had bomb vests strapped to them, which then explode and basically fucking vaporize the nuns. And I thought that was as far as they could take it. By episode 4, the protagonist is physically dismembering old Nazis. So, I mean, ripping them apart, ripping their organs out. So it's pretty extreme. Hey, Catherine, they're saying only one more season of The Good Place, but I'm on board with someone saying we have a story and we've decided it takes this long to tell and we're going to finish when that story is told, rather than running a show into the ground. Hey, Miss Foxification. Yes, you entered at an interesting. Oh, God. CrossFitter, I've heard Good Omens is really good. I'm a mad Neil Gaiman fan, so I've really wanted to watch the TV adaptations of his books, American Gods and Good Omens. And I think they're both on Amazon Prime in Australia, so I might sign up for it. Yes, it's tearing Nazis apart time, this Foxification. I think November's been announced for Rick and Morty return. Like they've been signed up for 9 seasons or something outrageous like that. But yeah, they announced November as the release date, which is the best part of 2 years after the last season came out. But that will be interesting. I quite like Rick and Morty. I started watching the new season of Archer 1999, which is like sci-fi. It's like a 70s idea of future sci-fi because it's got really futuristic technology, but it's called Archer 1999 after the famous Space 1999, that rather hopeful sci-fi that used to get made in the 60s and 70s. Oh no, I have that toxic fan base for Rick and Morty. Fuck off. It's embarrassing to say you like Rick and Morty when people see the public behavior of that really, really fucking toxic fan base. Shit. Haruhi, you're playing Persona 3. Watch my kids play Persona on the PlayStation, the most recent Persona. Everyone got excited that there's going to be a new Final Fantasy for the PlayStation, aren't they? Haruhi, you like the mobile games, playing Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. Yeah. I feel like they make furries look good. Most furries are fine. It's the Nazi furries are super weird. And that's a real thing for those who don't know. People who are in the furry thing, they wear the fursuits, but they will have Nazi regalia over the top of their fursuits, which is seriously fucked. Just really, really messed up. But yes. I have not been playing video games lately. Mrs. Angry's playing Fallout 4 at the moment and is really into it. Looks good. Looks like I'd probably enjoy playing. She also bought Red Dead Redemption, which I really am keen to play, but I'm also worried about using up too many hours of my time. Miss Foxification, you're playing Fallout Twin Wastelands. Blend of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. That's interesting. Oh, yes, Nuck, I saw that E3 thing. Keanu Reeves being the surprise addition to the Cyberpunk 2077 game, and him coming out and someone from the audience shouting, "You're breathtaking!" And him going, "Oh, you're all breathtaking." Hey, I got excited because a new Borderlands game was announced at the end of the year. And God, I already have Borderlands 2, the pre-sequel, but they've made the bundle. I've got it for the PC, and they've made it free on the PlayStation, I think. And there's some new content as well. I love Borderlands, and there's a new Borderlands coming out later this year. Yeah, Foxfake, Mrs. Angry likes world-building games. We both really enjoyed Breath of the Wild. She liked, what do you call it? Elder Scrolls. What was that last one? The one that everyone's been playing for years? Why has my brain stopped fucking working? But what other world building games did she play? She played a couple others, I think. I quite enjoyed. I played Yakuza 0 and Mafia 3. That's it. Thanks, Foxface. Skyrim. Why the fuck did my brain stop working? I liked Grand Theft Auto 4, Mafia 3, Yakuza 0. I do love tooling all over the place and doing the shooting and punching. But having an open world thing, oh yeah, they're not completely open worlds, but they're fairly open. So I quite like them. Mrs. Angry's is not, she didn't play Grand Theft Auto or Mafia or Yakuza. Yeah, I think there's a new Yakuza game. Oh, fuck, the sense of humor. Yakuza 0 was the first Yakuza game I played. My daughter got it for me for Christmas. She said, I think you'll like this. And I liked it. Fuck, the sense of humor in that game was just hilarious. Just a really, really twisted Japanese sense of humor. Fuck, it was funny. So Justin, Microsoft shut down the flight sim. Oh yeah, you're saying there's a new flight sim game, first one in a decade or more. Yeah, I have friends who were really into flight sim back in the day. I know there's that whole there's a whole subculture of people who take flight sims really seriously, and they do it online all the time. And there's some people are air traffic controllers and some people are pilots, and they do it, they no cheats, they do it all in real time, which is just like, okay, you are like fucking train spotters. Yeah, Proper Wolfie, I did also enjoy the combat and the design generally in Yakuza. I only maxed out one of the characters. Oh, okay, Miss Foxification, you've got a troll. That's really cool. That's that's hilarious. That's not actually someone trolling me. It's someone trolling one of the Angry family. Weird as fuck. I mean, seriously, what sort of no-life fucking loser do you have to be to go into someone's live stream just to troll someone who's in the live stream? That is fucking nuclear grade fucking loser right there. That is a worthless fucking loser piece of shit. Jesus, that's major garbage. That is major fucking garbage. Sad as fuck. Oh yeah, music there. Guys who build full cockpits in their house. Yes. That's a spectacular one. All right, I said something on Twitter, so I have a few trolls to block. That's okay. That's the thing I do. Block trolls. No engagement with trolls. Oh, actually, speaking of funny shit that was happening on Twitter today, people are making fun of that Justin Bieber weirdly, randomly challenging Tom Cruise to a fight, when like Tom Cruise is so much older than him. And so someone basically made it like a troll that said, okay, so yeah, Tom Cruise is 31 years older than Justin Bieber. So someone said, okay, let's all do it. Challenge an actor who's 31 years older. This person's challenged Sam Waterston. You're a punk, due for an ass beating. Name the place. So I looked up actors who were 31 years older than me, which makes them very old, and I found Wilford Brimley. So I just told Wilford Brimley I was gonna fuck his shit up, and what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do with his diabetes? Yeah, I mean it's a fairly obvious publicity stunt from Justin Bieber, which, yeah, hey, worked because we're talking about it. That's a thing, I guess. So I think we live in the hell timeline. Sorry, did I say hello, David? I think I did. I'm not sure, but I'll say hello again in case I forgot to say. I saw you pop up. Oh, Musical Behavior, you're doing a 12-hour live stream of Flight Sim. Wild. I think I missed something. Oh, Harry, you're saying you should subscribe to Air Force Proud 95 is an ATC user. Okay. That's the thing with flight sims. They obviously lend themselves to long live streams because you can take really long flights. Harry, you think the challenging actor's 31 years older than you is the new Ice Bucket Challenge? Wow, that's like super fucking weird. Oh, yeah, of course there would be a VR flight sim. That's an interesting concept, VR flights. And that's, if you got lots of money, you do a whole rig that moved back and forth, you know, had gimbals, so you banked and stuff. You got the physical sensation. Luke, do people do sleep streams? Okay, that's a bit weird and creepy. Oh no, I mean, I'm all for getting on here and saying whatevs and having people come in, but the idea of people watching me when I sleep, there's just something wrong with that. Although that reminds me, I had a truly bizarre idea for a video that revolved around that, yeah, obviously false thing that really spread and took hold in people's. The idea that you eat 8 spiders in your sleep over the course of your life. I had an idea for a video based on that. It was both weird and creepy, and I do so. I literally, this is one of the things that's been true for me over the course of YouTube. I've made so many videos, but every now and then I have an idea, and I don't do it, but I don't forget the idea, or I forget it for a while, and it comes back to me occasionally. And sometimes I make videos like years after I've originally had the idea. Jesus, David, you've got insomnia? You've only slept 1.5 hours since Sunday. Good luck. No, the eating spiders thing is not true at all. It's just a completely weird thing someone made up out of whole cloth. And according to people, we were talking about this before. It's like that thing about men think about sex every 30 seconds. It's like someone just literally made that shit up because it's impossible to measure. It's impossible to verify. That's if you take the pause and think. Whenever you hear a fact that you go, wow, yeah, take a little bit of time to think, how would you measure that? How would you verify that? And you can soon work out the likelihood of things not being true. Oh, Christ, David, cellulitis in your legs, shit. You and AIDS both, mate. This is gross and fucking necrotizing. I had that. That's why I go to physio now, because last year, I fucked up this shoulder just by sleeping, and yeah, fucked up my shoulder because I'm old. And that got so bad I couldn't sleep at one point. It was just too painful to sleep. So yeah. Justin, you have sleep apnea. You snore. I snore if I sleep on my back, which is weird because I feel like I sleep better on my back, but I snore. I think I need to lose some weight. I might snore less if I lost more weight. Hurry, necrotizing means dying. He has these black ulcers that are basically dead blood. And the danger is that causes an infection, gets spread. And I mean, they have basically said you need to be cognizant of a future that involves you getting your legs chopped off. He's yes, you did annoy someone apparently, Miss Foxification. And while I am prepared to have discussions, if someone just comes on fucking wanting to cause shit, I'm not really interested. Harry, it's not really gangrene, but it's you could call it gangrene adjacent. Yeah, it's similar. Oh, David, what sort of painkillers? Very serious ones. Yeah, I mean, last time he was in hospital, they had him on morphine and endone. Very strictly regulated dosages, but yes, he's on very serious. Oh, Ms. Foxification, you comment on Q&A. I can't even watch Q&A. It's just such cheap theatrics. Q&A is just inflaming controversy for attention. And okay, it's not like I'm completely innocent of that, but I don't know, I expect better of the ABC, and it's shit. They just pursue drama for the sake of drama. God, there's no way I'd hang out in a fucking Q&A comment thread. Jesus, that'd have to be ugly as fuck. Well, does Q&A live stream on Facebook? I think. I mean, obviously they post it, or you can just follow the Q&A hashtag and see some real fuckery. I thought they live streamed it and had a comment section on their live stream, although I could be wrong. I think you've summed it up there, Miss Foxification. If there's a commenter who's not straight white male, the vitriol comes out. I stopped watching Q&A when I found it was just making me angry, like making me want to throw something at my TV. I don't want to damage my own TV, so I'm just going to stop watching Q&A. And Tony fucking Jones I hate that guy. He's so fucking smug and self-important, and he thinks that show is so important. It's democracy. Fuck you, you ego-tripping dipshit. Yeah. Hurry, that's a good summary of the Q&A comments, the Aussie pleb edition of 4chan. Hurry, I don't want to throw it down. It's like I don't want to damage my TV. There's always the danger, you got your flat screen TV on a set, even if you're just doing something like throwing a fucking soft toy at it or a Nerf, that you do it too hard and I can knock your TV over. So I'm not joking. I stopped watching Q&A because it kept making me want to punch my own fucking TV. And it's just like, well, that's not good, is it? That's not good at all. Oh God, yeah, probably no. Okay, let's get on to the fucking YouTube and internet generally equivalents of Q&A. These shit-talking right-wingers who think they're fucking doing a service. And possibly, I mean, okay, no, the both sideses don't shit me more. The ones who shit me the most are the fucking obnoxious right-wingers who was, you know, that push their various bigotries. There's usually a huge crossover with the racists, the misogynists, the homophobes, and the general bigots. They're just such a fucking shit show. But I do really get the shits at people like Joe Rogan, who act like actual fucking white supremacists have something valid to say. I don't think we should listen to both sides. He's a fucking Nazi. Why in the ever-loving fuck are you validating fucking Nazis? What sort of cunt does that? Seriously. It's just like, fuck that noise. And that old, I'm going to tell both sides of the story. Hey, if the other side's a fucking Nazi, we know what their side is. You don't have to give them fucking oxygen. I hear proper Wolfie, the enlightened centrist. You know what? The extremists, they're the same. You know what? The person who worships Hitler and advocates actual Nazi ideology and racial purification and the extermination of their lessers, you know who's just as bad? The people on the left who oppose them. Those extremists on the left who want to take action against Nazis, they're as bad as the Nazis. Get fucked, honestly. That is the weakest bullshit imaginable. Hurry, Cult of Dusty seems to have gone full circle. Like, he's not someone I've watched at all, but I know he's been around for a long time. And if I understand his arc right, he started off, you know, he was the lefty, basically a lefty, you know, rationalist. And then that whole rational atheist movement got really fucking poisoned by misogynists and racists. And I had the feeling he went down that path, but now he's come back around and gone, oh no, that shit's actually bad. And he makes fun of them at the moment. Oh God, probably, I literally have to put up with that shit virtually every day. Anti-racists are the real racists. You know who the real victims of racism are? Straight white men. They're the most marginalized group in the world. I wonder how long it takes these sad fucking loser trolls to make additional accounts just to be trolls, because it really doesn't take any time at all to block them. Click, gone. Yeah, I just have zero. It's like, you should engage in arguments. And I was like, well, it's just that all the people who fucking shit me, all the people I want to have a go at, they are just complete bad faith actors. They don't want to fucking. They talk about debate and facts over feelings and blah 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 blah. Like, they don't want to debate, and their arguing points are all really emotional, not logic based at all, and they completely act in bad faith. It's like, because the other thing is their arguments are so fucking stupid. It isn't simply that I disagree with them. It's just that their arguing points are fucking stupid. And the point is, you say, okay, here is why your argument is stupid. Shoot them down, because it's so easy to shoot them down because their arguments are so fucking stupid. Then they immediately flipping, oh, but what about, and go, oh, for fuck's sake. You go, that's stupid for the, oh, what about, and they never just go, oh, okay, you proved my argument was fucking stupid. They just want to waste your fucking time. What does that mean? Because you think they believe the stupidity, so expect us to. More than half the time, I don't believe they believe the shit they say. They're just politically motivated shit stirrers. And yeah, it's like arguing with flat earthers. What's the fucking point? What do you actually gain by arguing with a flat earther? I mean, a position that is so inherently stupid, so inherently unsupported, so inherently ridiculous. What the fuck do you gain by engaging with them? It's just like, that is a complete waste of my time. And like the really, really, really stupid conspiracy believers, the moon landing was a fake. A lizard race who lives under the earth actually controls everything. The royal family are all shape-shifting lizards. And it's just like, the position is so stupid. What do you gain? And climate change deniers. It's like, no, everything you say is absolutely, it's not refuted. It's trivially easy to refute. But it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. You shoot down one thing and they just say something else stupid. It's like a complete fucking waste of. I live for the day that there's someone like with a conservative viewpoint who genuinely wants to debate. We can genuinely go back and forth. But who the fuck is a conservative intellectual these days? It's just like, as I was saying the other day on Twitter, it's like actual conservatives, people who are actual conservatives, like they have conservative political, economic, or social views because they think those views are better for the majority of people. They should be more angry at these right-wing provocateurs than anyone on the left. Everyone on the left is just like, oh, you fucking lying sack of shit. But you're not making the left look stupid by being a lying sack of shit. You're making the right look stupid by being a lying sack of shit. Rui, I've never really watched Isaac Butterfield. Okay, you're saying he went after a flat earther. I did see that he went after Fraser Anning for being an outright fucking Nazi too. So while my understanding of Isaac Butterfield is he's quite right-wing and very anti-feminist, and I feel like he sicked his viewers onto me at one point, although I'm not 100% sure of that. But at least he's willing to stand on some things that will get him grief from some of these fuckwits on the alt-right. He appears to actually have some principles, which is nice. Just do we put climate deniers in the same category as terrorists? Dude, I don't know what to do about climate deniers because it's terrifying. Because I feel like we're not going to see any change whatsoever until we see catastrophic, irreversible damage. You know, like we see massive species extinction and massive storms, flooding, and droughts and various fuckery from climate change that will inevitably kill millions of brown people first. And then when it starts affecting white people, see change. And I'll tell you another thing I'm really worried about with climate change. We're already seeing it. People talking about, oh, what about this possible technological solution? And someone is literally just making shit up. Like, oh, we could spray stuff into the atmosphere to block the sun for a while. Like, the likelihood of these miracle solutions having catastrophic side effects is absurdly high when we actually know literally exactly what we have to do to alleviate the worst of climate change. Like, we actually know, and it would save money. People go about, oh, it's going to cost too much. It's going to cost probably the entire world economy and millions, if not billions, of lives if we don't take radical steps. But that's the thing, we're saving money. It's just like, and people, oh, there's going to be a technology. But we know how to solve it. We know how to minimize the worst. We literally know how to do it. And it's just like, what the fuck? Yeah, there may well be a booming economy in guillotines in the future. You know, maybe if you want to be successful in the future, have the IKEA equivalent of a guillotine, like an easy prefab, easy to assemble guillotine. Ugh. Oh, look, here's the coffee cup trend. That was, what's his name from the Chaser, who has that show on the ABC. Yes, he filled up a tram with coffee cups. What was he saying? That was like a day's worth of coffee cups or something. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, whenever I hear someone talking about some ridiculous fucking bullshit technological solution, which A, almost definitely won't work, and B, has a terrifyingly high chance of having some awful fucking side effect. Yeah, I just want to choke it. And we're going to see this. It's already started, and we're just going to see more and more and more and more and more of them. These bullshit solutions, oh my fucking God. Just, we know what the solution, we know what our best course of action. The best course of action would not only avoid, hopefully, we don't know for sure, but hopefully avoid the worst of the damage, but it would be an economic boom as well. It's ridiculous. Justin, you think we should jail them all? But the people who control the jails, the people who control the laws, are fucking pushing it. Kaiju, happy anniversary. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Oh God, anti-vaxxers. Again, people, when these conspiracies literally kill people, like anti-vaxxers will ultimately be responsible for minimum thousands of deaths. But the terrifying thing is that climate change deniers either kill us all, or at the very least, millions of people. And the first millions to die will be the most vulnerable. It's just, it honestly, it does my fucking head in. How people can be like, see, when people say, what should we do? I don't know. The thing is, there are a lot of, I've read a lot of great stuff. There are a lot of great videos on YouTube, and of people saying like, okay, here's why people think this way. No. And if you look at the behavior of humans, the way to influence people appears to be with stories. You're right, properly. How do you argue with denialists when reality isn't part of their things? Oh gosh, flat earthers will cause floods. If the earth was as flat earthers thought, we would have more problem with floodings. Kaiju, I think you're right that we have lemming brains. It is really. The thing is, the economy would be so much better off with an aggressive push to green technology. And because China is investing so much in there. Australia could be the testing ground for so many forms of renewables: solar, thermal, tidal. We have the variations in this vast continent to actually fucking be at the leading edge. Good Lord. Are you saying Vsauce said Kansas is flat? I missed that. Sorry, it's just making me think of that little bit in Rick and Morty where Morty's saying something about something being flat, And Rick's going, really, really, that's flat. You want flat? And he uses his super brain and science knowledge to make the flattest surface imaginable and does Morty's head in with it. I love when Rick and Morty just gets really fucking weird. I published solar, obviously, but I know there was a research thing in the desert here for thermal energy, and it was fascinating. What it was these really tall chimneys that channeled hot air down, and by really tall, I think they're like in excess of 1 kilometer tall, which is wild. And you channel the hot desert air down the chimney, and it accelerates all the way down and turns a turbine at the bottom, which generates electricity. Only experimental, as far as I know, but absolutely wild technology. Belinda, okay, nuclear comes up every time we talk this. I do not support nuclear for 3 reasons. If someone wants to win me over to nuclear, they have to do 3 things, and not just go, oh, we're better at that, but actually prove. First, the one thing that so many people gloss over is the mining for nuclear fuel is horrifically devastating to the environment. Like, worse than coal mining, causes more damage and is more toxic, and the damage lasts millennia. So the mining of the fuel for nuclear is incredibly destructive. You can't do it. Then there's the obvious one, the risk. We've seen Chernobyl, we've seen in Japan, we've seen long 3 mile, I don't know, the one that happened in the US that was almost a meltdown. It's bullshit that the risk has been eliminated. It's just an absolute lie that the risk has been eliminated. And third, and this is another huge one, bigger than just the risk of the reactors, the waste. There is absolutely no safe way to dispose of or store the waste. It's a horrific problem, and the way people who promote nuclear, thank you, 3 Mile Island, thank you, Nug. The way people who promote nuclear understate the danger of the waste is fucking ridiculous. So no, there are 3 absolutely huge failures of nuclear as an option. And why invest money in something so dangerous when you could invest the money in alternatives that aren't dangerous? Just by the by. Like, yeah, oh my God. And then they start up these lies about the dangers of wind power, wind turbines. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, okay, I didn't know there was a bad uranium mining town in Africa. But I mean, one of the big sites for mining the fuel for nuclear in Australia is in the Northern Territory, in Kakadu, one of the most beautiful, unique, diverse wilderness areas in the world. And the risk of this mining operation completely destroying it is so high. The thing is, okay, Justin, that's a reasonable thing. I'd rather use nuclear if it's necessary to save the planet, but it isn't. It categorically isn't. And the use of nuclear could destroy the planet. We have all the alternative technologies required. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry, and I don't mean you're ridiculous. I think you just made a reasonable statement. I just think that when we have the technology to generate the power without nuclear, it makes no sense, none whatsoever, no sense whatsoever to use nuclear. That's it, yellow cake. That's what we call the base thing that's mined for the power for nuclear power plants. Yeah, it's just the mining for the fuel is just horrific. The plants themselves are just too dangerous, and anyone who says they're not is talking shit. And and the waste problem is a nightmare. It's just really, ooh, good call, Miss. Sorry, Fox of Fate. I was thinking that myself. Do I have an anniversary cocktail? Answer: yes, I do. You see, Luke, Adelaide blacks out all the time anyway, so just get used to it and let everyone else have the power. I think everyone in Adelaide's used to the blackouts and things going to. That's awful. That's an awful thing to say, Angry. Why would you say that? That's just awful. I do have, I'm already with an anniversary cocktail. I looked it up. I planned for this. I did a search online for cocktails that were themed with the number 13, this being my 13th anniversary. And I found one called Difford's number 13. Pugwash, yeah, it's 9:10 at night here, which is my justification for making a cocktail now. I looked up, cocktail 13, and I found one called Difford's number 13 fruit cup. And I'm not making that exactly, but I'm making something very similar to a Difford's number 13. Justin, how's the Tesla battery in South Australia working out? I thought it was a success too. I actually don't know anything specific, but I thought so. Pugwash, 10 after midday, sun's past the yard arm. That's what, sorry, I think I missed something. So that's what it was, CrossFitter. The 3 Mile Island meltdown was called by Wolverine and Sabretooth fighting low-rent Deadpool. Oh, yeah. No, that movie never happened, because if you saw Deadpool 2, he went back in time and shot that Deadpool, so it never happened. Okay, so I am going to make my version of a Difford's 13 for my 13th year anniversary. David, I've watched the first 2 episodes of Chernobyl. Fuck, it's good. It's full on and bleak as fuck, but it's good. Oh wait, where's my cocktail shaker? Sorry, just have to find my cocktail shaker and a glass and some ice. I've got the contents here though, so I'll just go up here and get my cocktail shaker. And my tiki mug. This is very gauche. This is what I almost always use on the live streams, and cocktail enthusiasts would probably call it very gauche. Okay, so I want a big. I think I've got some ice balls actually. Put an ice ball in this for a change. My ice ball mold. I think there's one still in here, so I'll use that and then freeze small. Nice ball of ice. Luke, my fridge. See, you probably fucking jinxed it, man. It's probably going to start making that noise. It was making the noise just before I started the live stream, and it literally stopped just before I started, and it's been quiet the whole time. But the little fucking motor will probably start up again and make terrible noise. Okay, that's everything. Okay, so a Difford's number 13 has apple brandy and orange liqueur and vermouth. Yes, Belinda. I don't know where Mimsy is tonight, so Chuck's with us. Would I go to Chernobyl, Justin? No, I've got enough health things without exposing myself to that level of radiation. So, yeah, the recipe I found for Difford's 13 had Calvados, which is a French apple brandy. This is a Northern European, sorry, it's German. This is a German apple pear brandy. So that's close enough. I did have some Calvados, and I drank it all. Well, I used it in cocktails. But apple brandy, apple pear brandy, French apple brandy, German apple pear brandy, very similar. I think the recipe I saw said to use orange curacao, but I have Cointreau, which is a bit more upmarket than orange curacao anyway. So I'm going to use Cointreau. Fox and Fake. Do I remember the first cocktail I did on a stream? No, I have no idea. I literally have no idea. Oh, not good. And vermouth. I have my, isn't that cute, sexy label? My absinthe-infused vermouth. The recipe I saw said to use sweet vermouth, which I don't have. I just have this it's a very nice flavor, this absinthe flavored vermouth. So put that in. I might put a little bit of agave syrup in. Are you saying Chernobyl's it's legal to trespass? But there are actual tours there. Oh my God, there was this because it's with the Chernobyl show on. It's been all the talk, and of course your Instagram models and influencers always want to be with what the search terms of the day are. So there were these really surreal photos of Instagram models doing photo shoots in Chernobyl. And it's like, oh, okay. I'm not sure humans deserve to survive. This is fucked up. All right. That's enough shaking, I think. Nice golden color. I've never made this one before, so I don't know what it'll taste like. Oh, Pugwash, your stepson visited Pripyat tour a couple of months ago. Yes. I've got my little ice ball and I want to swirl it around a bit to chill the drink. Never made this before, so I don't know what it'll taste like. This Foxcage, that's a good one. The Instagram model should up one each other, do one at Fukushima, which is, as I understand, still quite dangerous. I haven't heard much about Fukushima lately, but I heard it's still quite dangerous. Don't really smell of anything, actually. Like, oh God, yeah, David, radiation poisoning, horrible idea. I've only watched the first 2 episodes of Chernobyl, and it's already some fucked up shit happening there. It's a great bit where the scientist and the politician are in a helicopter, and the politician's saying fly directly over to see if the reactor's really blown, and the scientist knows it is, and the politician's basically saying, "Do what I say, or I'll have you shot." And the pilot's flying towards it, and the scientist just runs up to him and says, "If you fly over that, by tomorrow you will be begging for the bullet." And like, okay, great, cool. Luke, you say it looks like piss. I said it looks golden. See, I'm a bit more poetic, Luke. You say it looks like piss. I say it looks like golden. Ooh, that's a feisty drink. I'll give it that much. It's okay. Oh, Pugwash, I never actually saw Threads. That's a nuclear war film, right? The one I saw was called The War Game. It's a really bleak black and white one. Depressing as fuck. It was commissioned by the BBC in 60s or 70s. And then a guy made it and showed it to the BBC, and they looked at it, and they just went, this is fucking horrifying. We're not broadcasting this. This is insane. And it was a realistic view of what would happen if a nuclear war happened, which is, of course, horrible. And yeah, but apparently the guy who made it sort of snuck a copy out, and he used to get. I saw a pirate copy of it at school. We had a school teacher in high school who was a real commie, and yeah, he ran it for one of the classes to tell us we're all gonna fucking die. That was us in the 80s. We're all gonna fucking die. Hila and Sela, hello to you. Jerry, war game is referenced in a PC game if you type Joshua. Oh, that was the funny thing. in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a couple of like Hollywood nuclear war films, and they were mostly cheesy as fuck. I liked that Matthew Broderick film, War Games. It's quite simply, but there's that one that they tried to say was, oh, it's so shocking. It's called The Day After, and it was just like dumb as fuck. Like it was so fucking stupid. But there was one that not that many people saw. They had Anthony Edwards in it. He was like Goose in Top Gun, and he was a long-running doctor in the TV series ER. And it was a movie called Miracle Mile. And so far as Hollywood nuclear war films go, that was the best one I saw, because it was fucking bleak and terrifying. And it was basically, you know, when people get a warning about the missiles are going to start flying, and they're all trying to come up with ways to survive, and it's just like, nah. You're not going to survive. It's not going to happen. If nuclear missiles start flying, that it's fucking all over. So for a Hollywood film, it was super fucking bleak, but realistic in that they're going, there's no day after. This shit happens, we're all gone. Sorry, that made me laugh. Hiller and Sealer asked, do you think the US Joint Chiefs deactivated Trump's football? I think, not 100% sure, I think the American president's nuclear football, basically the briefcase that has the key to authorize nuclear strike, I think it requires more than one person. And that's the thing, that's the weird story we've got out of the Trump White House repeatedly, is that the only reason worse shit hasn't happened is because White House staff have basically refused to follow Trump's instructions. Soshi, hi. Yes, no, I'm still here for half an hour. So, yeah. Pugwash, I hope they gave Trump a fake briefcase. Maybe. But we have heard the weirdest fucking stories of people in the Trump White House subverting Trump repeatedly. Like, you hear it and you go, oh, thank God someone's doing it. But it's illegal. It's illegal and unconstitutional for those people on his staff to undermine his orders. But we keep getting stories saying they're doing it. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm glad you're doing it. But it's also weird that's illegal. Are you saying Laserdisc used to launch nukes? That's an interesting concept. What data's on the Laserdiscs that they can launch nukes with it? So that just got me thinking. A friend of mine who actually had a Laserdisc player, not that many people ever had Laserdisc players. For those who don't know, Laserdiscs came out just before DVDs, and they were the size of a 12-inch vinyl album, and they didn't store as much as a DVD. But the thing, this friend of mine, he had I think, very close to the original cuts of the Star Wars trilogy on Laserdisc, because hardcore Star Wars fans complain that all the video releases of Star Wars were slightly different to the theatrical, either slightly different or extremely different to the theatrical release. But yeah, this friend of mine had the original Star Wars trilogy on Laserdisc, and they are apparently about the closest you can get to the original release on home video. Don't know if he still has them, because you'd probably sell them for a fucking fortune on eBay. I almost bought them off, and the player off him years ago, like a decade or 2 decades ago. because I thought it'd be fun, but I didn't. Kind of weird, because like I said, honestly, I reckon these Star Wars Laserdiscs would sell for a fucking fortune. Hey, that's a fun thing. I'm going to look it up. Are they on sale anywhere? I'll just do a Google search. Star Wars Laser Disc sale. Saki, no. Sale. Okay, eBay. Star Wars Laserdisc for sale? Really? Only $30? Okay. Hey, kids, don't listen to me. I'm a liar. They're not worth a lot of money. Oh my God. Individual movies are like between $15 and $30. The complete set is $30 to $50. I'm so full of shit. I thought they were worth a lot on eBay, and they're not. They're absolutely not. Man, is that, wow, that is so fucking weird. I had that in my head as a truth. I had that in my head as a truth. Original trilogy Star Wars Laserdiscs are worth a fortune, and they aren't. My whole worldview has just been shaken. My worldview has been knocked about and shaken. Ahuri, that's the term from the 80s, mutually assured destruction. That was the Cold War. That's what stopped Russia and America from launching nukes at each other, because nobody could stop the other side from launching. So if one side launched, the other side would, and everyone would get wiped out, hence mutually assured destruction, which is a very cheery phrase. And this is interesting. Look, I'm a lefty who lived through the 80s, and we hung shit on Ronald Reagan, rightly so in my opinion, and he claimed it was his actions that brought down the Soviet Union. He claimed it was his actions that stopped nuclear war from ever happening. I don't really agree with that, but I can't prove he's wrong. He was president at a critical time in history, and the Soviet Union collapsed. We never had a nuclear war. I don't actually believe it was from his policies. I think it was more complex than that, but I can't disprove it. And that's a concession I'll always grant to Reagan supporters. I can't prove he didn't bring about the collapse of the Soviet Union, that he didn't save us all from nuclear war. I don't think he did, but I can't prove he didn't. And I think that's important to acknowledge. But you can't prove a negative. It didn't happen. Did Ronald Reagan make it not happen? Yeah. So, oh look, I do have Siri on my phone. So this is a surveillance. Hey Siri, is the government listening to me? She says, I don't know what that means. If you like, I can search the web for, is the government listening to me? Yes.
I found this on the web.
Your phone is listening and it's not paranoia? She's playing dumb. She's playing dumb. Hey Siri, do you record everything I say?
I respect your privacy and only listen when you're talking to me. You can learn about Apple's approach to privacy on apple.com.
By the way, I changed Siri's accent to Irish a couple of days ago. So she claims she's only, I'm calling her she. Hey Siri, what is Five Eyes?
The Five Eyes, often abbreviated as FEY, is an Anglophone intelligence alliance comprising Australia, Canada, New Zealand, the United Kingdom and the United States. Do you want me to keep reading?
No, thank you. 5 eyes. Yes, we are. Look, as I've said repeatedly, we are under constant surveillance. You are free of government surveillance until the point they decide they want to surveil you. If the government decides you are a person of interest, you're fucked. There is literally no way to stop them surveilling you. That's not paranoia. That's not aluminium foil hats. The government has so many different ways to surveil you. And it's only going to get more absolute in the future. So I can just embrace the horror, really. This is not bad. This is not my favorite cocktail, not by a long shot, but it's not bad. The old Difford's number 13. Yeah, Fox of Fate. The AFP have just opened a file on me for asking that question. But Siri's bad enough. It's obviously constantly monitoring what I say in order to respond when I say, hey, Siri. Yeah, hi, how's it going?
Excellent.
See, she's fine. Yes, Pugwash, I've been uploading videos to YouTube for 13 years. My main YouTube channel is here's the weird thing. Hey Siri, what is the most viewed video on YouTube?
Here are some videos of what is the most viewed video I found on the web. Take a look.
That doesn't help. What is that? Top 5 most viewed YouTube videos. That doesn't help at all. Jeez. Oh, what the fuck? Go away. Fuck is that shit? Okay. I mean, I refuse to have something like, you know, those various home assistants where Alexa or Google Home or whatever the fuck they are. It's bad enough that I've got my iPhone surveilling me the whole time and tracking my movements. How funny is it when actual murderers have been caught because they had their phone with them when they buried the body so it tracked their movements, and their search history had shit about how to dispose of bodies. Jesus Christ. Feeling silly, you think you subscribed just after I stopped wearing masks? That's like 2 years in, so you're very long term. Ah, misclassification, you've had a delivery of Chinese food. I'm still in contact with a couple of people who started watching me like in the very early days. One of the oldest friends I made on YouTube is my friend in Ireland, Franklin. He still sends me Christmas cards, which is really nice. Oh, you went and got Chinese. You're a very industrious, misclassification. I'm still doing the light and easy. Not as tough as I should. My whole weight loss plan this year is somewhat stalled. It's definitely really gone backwards, but I need to get more. For the first 2 months, I was pretty serious and I lost about 10 kilos. Then for 2 months, I've been super slack and just sort of stayed the same. I'd like to have sort of hit a weight loss milestone by the end of the year, you know, have a dad bod for summer. No, Pugwash, I'm not doing low-fat drinks, although there are various people who recommend those. No, Light and Easy is a pre-prepared meal service that you get here in Australia. So fucking easy, just microwave it. And their food's really good. And when I'm doing Light and Easy food, my fucking diet is way more varied than if I am making it on my own. I do have some stuff. I went to Costco on the weekend and bought some food. I'm going to have to cook that. Oh, man, I just thought of something I have to do, but that's okay. Yes, Pugwash, drink more spiritual. I don't drink beer at all. I do like cider, and cider is quite high sugar. So spirits are better for me than beer or cider. Miss Fox, that's a big one, Miss Fox Vacation. Why doesn't Uber Eats deliver calorie-controlled meals? That's a really interesting one. You have an entrepreneurial mind. I like that. Yeah. I wonder what the market for that would be. Actually, wow. Yeah, people like Light and Easy should team up with Uber Eats. That's a very interesting idea. Clapping for Chlamydia. Thank you for the happy anniversary wishes. Yes, I am the Thunder from Down Under. Pugwash. All spirits are very expensive here. There are very high taxes on spirits here, which I'm actually in favor of, quite honestly. Fucking booze is so cheap in the US. It blew my mind. Have I heard of Australian Guy Strip Show in Vegas? Lots of Australian guys did stripping in Vegas. Thunder from Down Under. What was really funny is there's a guy who got famous in the 90s on a gardening show in Australia. What was his name? Jamie something. And then it came out, not that he was really keeping it a secret, but he wasn't publicizing it. He had been with a male strip review called Manpower for years. Like, he ended up being friends with Oprah and shit. Some Aussies must know who I'm talking about. Jamie, what's his name from that gardening? Jury, thank you, Belinda. I knew someone had come through. Jamie Jury. He was one of those home renovation gardening shows. But prior to that, he'd been a stripper for a decade. And he's just a little fella like me. I think he's only about 5'8", like me. But yeah, he'd been a stripper for a decade, which is pretty funny. Good on him, you know. And he used to occasionally do these little tricks on the show, whatever the fuck his gardening show was called. It would be basically feats of strength, but he got all his strength from stripping, basically. Dr. Bummer, it's never too late to join. I'm still here for like 20 or 30 minutes. I've just got this compulsion to look up his height because I think he's only my height. Jamie Jury, Australian horticulturalist. Yes. Height. 1.72. Yeah, 5'8". I thought he was my height. 5'8". He's a short ass like me. Fox of Fate. Cheap vodka is no. God, no, that's the beer thing, as you say, fucking close to water, like Sex in a Boat. No, cheap vodka is like fucking paint stripper. Oh, Dr. Balmer, it's my 13th anniversary on YouTube. I uploaded my first YouTube video 13 years ago. Probably get a 4-pack of cider for £2.70, yeah. This is my anniversary show. God, I feel like I talked about 10 different things there and everything. So, yes, Jamie Jury was a stripper. Good on him. Yeah, some people tried to make it into a bit of a drama when they made public. You're 5'7". 5'7" is basically 5'8", man. There's no difference, man. You want some brandy? I got some brandy. Look, that's my cognac, and I've got brandy over there. That was one of the interesting things when I first got into making cocktails. Mrs. Angry got me this truly awesome cocktail book, and one of the things in a lot of the cocktails was brandy, and I'd never really drunk brandy. I thought I didn't like brandy, but then I found I like brandy in cocktails. Like one of my very top cocktails is the Sidecar, which is brandy and Cointreau and lemon juice. I fucking love that. And you can do various substitutes. Okay, brandy and there's all sorts of brandies. And you can also substitute cognac for brandy. That's cognac there. And Cointreau, or you can use triple sec or orange curacao. It's basically something like brandy or cognac and an orange liqueur, and they're fucking great, the sidecar. Dr. Obama, happy birthday. You are not the only one having a birthday about now. Luke is also having a birthday. So it's birthdays, it's YouTube anniversaries. Yes, Brett, you're right. At least Jamie Jury isn't like Don Burke. How fucked was that when that story got made? But apparently within TV circles, everyone fucking knew. Australia's worst sexual predator in the entertainment industry was Don Burke. Fucking hell, that was so fucked. Just enough. I've been to Hofbrauhaus in Melbourne, served beer and match. I don't drink beer, man. I do not drink beer at all. I just don't like beer. Gross taste. I like, if I was going to drink something out of a tap at a pub, it'll be cider. Oh yeah, miscommunication. The fucking Hey Dad dude. It was like when, just before they named who it was in the Hey Dad cast, who was a fucking sexual predator, there's like a guy in the Hey Dad cast was a sexual predator. So basically every other guy in the cast went public and went, not me. And then Robert Hughes got prosecuted. It's like, fucking hell. Oh, Buck, you were in a bar in Coogee that served UK pints if you asked in the right accent. I like that. I have a pint of cider. That was the first time I drank cider. I was in the UK and I was hanging out with a YouTube friend, Steve. We did a road trip together. Yes, Fox, the guy from Burke's Backyard is a fucking evil sexual predator. And apparently everyone in the fucking Australian TV industry knew it. I just know the British guy turned out to be a pedo after he died. That was Jimmy Savile. And he was very big in British entertainment for decades. And everyone on the fucking planet knew he was a severe sexual predator. And he was protected by everyone in the entertainment industry, the hierarchy of the BBC. The fucking government protected Jimmy fucking Savile. They knew what he was. They fucking knew what he was, and they protected him. And here's the creepiest bit. He did some interviews with the fucking Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe. And he was basically a defender of Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper. And here's the thing. We know for a fact Jimmy Savile was a sexual predator and a pedophile. We know for a fact he paid off some hospitals. He did fundraising for hospitals, and they let him fuck dead bodies in the morgue. We know that is true. He was a pedophile, a sexual predator of children and adults, and he fucking paid off hospitals to be allowed to fuck corpses in the morgue. We know that is a fact. Now, here's the thing. If you, again, Felix, like you say, it's like unbelievable. The conspiracy theory about Savile, which could actually be true, but I'll put it, it's right out there. He was a defender of the Yorkshire Ripper, Sutcliffe, and when you look at where he was with his public appearances and tours, some of them coincided with when the Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe, was murdering some of his victims. It is actually possible Jimmy Savile was actually involved in serial killings with Peter Sutcliffe. That is an actual, real possibility. What in the ever-loving fuck? It's just like, what the fuck? And I was going to say the worst thing, but I can't even settle on what the worst thing about Jimmy Savile and his protectors are. But when one of the current affairs shows in the UK was going to do this big expose on just how bad Jimmy Savile was after he died. And they had this whole fucking expose plan. The hierarchy of the BBC wanted to block it because they went, oh, but we had this whole tribute for Jimmy Savile prepared, and you'll ruin it if you tell everyone he's a fucking pedo sex abuser. And you're still fucking defending him, you fucking garbage. And this is the whole idea of sexual abuse, pedophilia, and just horrible behavior crosses all political persuasions. The Margaret Thatcher actively defended sex abusers and pedophiles, but Labour politicians, the progressive BBC, all fucking defended sex abusers and pedophiles. It's like, no, that fucked behavior crosses all political persuasions. Do not trust anyone who says their political views are pure and we're the good guys and the other side are the bad guys. Like, oh, look, they defend sex abusers and pedophiles. No. That's about power. And it doesn't matter if your politics are left or right. Power protects power. And there is no political party that can fucking hold their head up and say they are innocent of this shit, because they all defend their power structures. Jesus fucking Christ. I got you right. The Sex Pistols actually fucking smoking. There was an interview, famously, Sid Vicious and Johnny Rotten were on some TV show, and they started shit talking Jimmy Savile. Like, the guy's going, oh, punk is terrible. You're picking on us. What about you pricks with Jimmy Savile? That's what Jimmy Savile's predations have been known since the fucking 70s. He was protected for decades. It's fucking sickening. Oh gosh, let's not get it. Actually, we can. Let's go with fucking YouTubers who are fucking predators, because the YouTube community has been rife with it, including, disturbingly, people who touted themselves, guys who touted themselves as progressives and feminists and whatnot, who turned out to be fucking predators. Dr. Obama, who's Jimmy Savile? He was very big in the British entertainment scene for decades. He was fucking huge for decades in the UK. If you want to feel really sick, do an internet search. You'll probably find all sorts of absolutely fucking horrific details about Jimmy Savile if you look them up. But he was very big in UK entertainment for decades, like 60s, 70s, 80s. He was fucking huge. Look, any Aussie YouTube predators? Yes, and I'm not gonna say their names because I don't want to get sued. Oh, Dr. Obama, yeah, bigger than Bert Newton. Like Molly Meldrum. He's a cross between Bert Newton and Molly Meldrum, basically. He lots of music shows, pop music and whatnot. Basically stuff that put him in contact with young people. He was fucking terrible. He was like the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst. He was so fucking bad. It's really, really hard to put into words how fucking bad Jimmy Savile was. And like I said, and no one can hold their head up. He's protected by politicians, both Tories and Labour. He's protected by the hierarchy of the BBC. It's just fucking horrific. Yeah, and I'll come back to fucking do not trust anyone who says their political group are they're your moral saviors. And I know people on the left are guilty of saying this, and I know people on the right are guilty of saying this. But any political persuasion has this power structure, and you get people who defend that power structure. Like recently, this fucking union boss in Australia who's been exposed of saying horrible misogynist things, and he's finally being dumped by Labour. Like, he should have been dumped ages ago because he was a fucking piece of shit. But people protect their own power structure. That's just the way it works. It's fucked. Oh, we're talking about people who committed suicide before getting caught. Yes, they do all sorts of shit. There was God, there've been so many YouTubers over the years who've been caught out for nasty shit. Usually it's about fucking abusing their fans, but there was one really well-known one. I think he was American who got jailed recently for soliciting nudes from underage fans and whatnot. Just fucking don't have relationships with them. I'm so fucking glad. Like, my relationship with Mrs. Angry is older than my YouTube channel. She actually encouraged me to have a creative outlet and do the YouTube thing. One of the many reasons my relationship is strong and has lasted for a long time, because we support each other in things we do. And oh my God, I'm so fucking glad I've never been single on YouTube. I've been with Mrs. Angry the whole time I've been on YouTube. So I've never gotten involved with anyone on YouTube. They were like fucking solicited nudes from anyone on YouTube. It's just like, oh my God, I'm just so fucking glad I haven't been single while I've been on YouTube, because I just don't want the grief. I don't want shit to get fucked up. Oh Christ. Yeah, see, Foxfate. This is why I don't associate with the atheist community, because even people like, okay, Richard Dawkins, who's by any objective measure is smarter than me, right? But he goes into areas where he has no expertise and tries to act like he has the same expertise, and like he's a fucking awful misogynist, and he's so fucked. And he's ended up saying the worst fucked up shit over the years, because he thinks his expertise in one area translates to everything else. It's just like, no, Justin, my kids do not do YouTube. Although my daughter in particular streams a lot with playing games, which I've not, basically I've kept my kids and my family generally completely away from my YouTube shit, because they don't need the grief, basically. I think we were still talking about Dawkins. Oh yes, he's about euthanizing people with mental disabilities. And like there was an incident there was some convention that fucking Richard Dawkins was at, and this woman complained about this creepy motherfucker who was stalking her and trying to follow her back to her room, and how no one did anything about it. And Dawkins, being a fucking cunt, just went, well, she didn't get raped, so what's she complaining about? Like, God, Jesus, he needs to pull his fucking head in. No, that guy's Sargonov Akkad. Didn't attack me once. He attacked me at least 3 or 4 times, and I had to put up with thousands of his drooling fucking fanboys fucking harassing me. Oh, Fox, I should have brought my mask out. I should have done this whole fucking live stream in my mask. Why did I not think of that? That I should have fucking done. So should I just say Albo actually be effective on the day? No, I have not been paying that much attention to Albo, because he's been shitting me. He's got a lot of time before the next election to maybe grow a fucking spine and stand for something. I haven't seen it yet. Sorry. Actually, Pugwash, that made me laugh. Do Angry Birds fans find me by mistake? Possibly. Possibly, yes. Ooh, Miss Foxification, that is a good idea for merch. The Angry Mask printed onto shot glasses. I love your thinking. That's great. Yes, it's a good one. I like that. Yes, and fucking sad fuck of arse hats destroyed UKIP. And what was really funny, Nigel Farage said, no, if you're letting people like that into UKIP, I'm out. And he formed that Brexit party, and basically that sank UKIP. UKIP did fucking nothing at the elections, and yeah, the Brexit party picked up all their votes. Still, fucking, Nigel Farage. If Nigel Farage thinks you're a noxious piece of shit, you're really garbage, because Nigel Farage is a piece of fucking shit. And if he thinks you're too much of a bigoted fuckhead, you've really gone too far. Oh man, that's ridiculous. Holy crap. Yeah, no, that was wild when sad fuck of arse was a bridge too far for Nigel Farage, and he ditched UKIP and formed his Brexit party and took all the votes away from UKIP. Did Anne Widdecombe get like she's saying weird shit about science will cure gayness? Jesus fucking Christ. Lindy's saying Boris Johnson's favourite. Yeah, no. Probably you are right. Boris is an omni-shambles. But he's absolutely going to lead the Tory party. He is incompetent. I'm looking at people's comments. He's incompetent. He's a buffoon. He is absolutely fucking going to be Tory leader and Prime Minister. But that's the big question, Dr. Obama. Chances of Corbyn becoming PM? I don't know. The whole thing with UK politics has confused me. There have been so many contradictions. I really want to see what happens in a general election with Corbyn as Labour leader. I hope that happens. I hope all the various people who are undermining and white-anting Jeremy Corbyn don't succeed, because he seems to have populist appeal, and I want to see how that goes in a general election. Look, if you believe that the various things are, Corbyn will probably lose an election. That seems like the most likely outcome. If Corbyn contests a general election, he'll lose. But I've ceased trying to predict things a long fucking time. Actually, that's not true. I predicted a Labour win in the local election. I said it was very unlikely, and I was wrong. So Trump and Brexit fucked me up, but I was so sure Labour were going to win, and they didn't. So I'm really not fucking predicting what would happen in a UK election. Yeah, Justin, that would be a very interesting competition. Corbyn v. Johnson in the UK, Sanders v. Trump in the US. Sanders isn't my favorite. I think I'm probably in the Elizabeth Warren camp at the moment, but who fucking knows? What people say and think with regards to surveys doesn't count for shit compared to voting day. So if there was a UK general election, no way would I predict the outcome. If you pushed me and said, what do I think is the most common? If Corbyn was Labour leader, I think the most likely outcome is he wouldn't win a majority. Maybe he could form a coalition with the Lib Dems. I don't know. But I wouldn't fucking put money on it. Kai, do you think either Sanders or Warren is good? Yeah. Dr. Obama, I think Trump winning 2020 is by far the most likely result. I don't see any sign of anything other than a Trump win in 2020. Still a long way off. Something could change. I don't know. But there's like Trumpelo's MAGA heads trying to wind up and go, oh, Trump will win 2020. I go, yeah, probably. And yeah, that depresses the fuck out of me. But I do think it's the most likely outcome. But I'm not fucking, I am not predicting a goddamn thing. Because common sense means fucking nothing. Accepted wisdom means fucking nothing. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. Do not know. Oh, God. Oh, but it's 10 o'clock, so I'm allowed to yawn now. Proper Wolfie, I admire your optimism. You think Trump winning is unlikely. Look, I just don't fucking know. And I've ceased trying to predict these things. The whole Trump regime has defied logic and common sense. So who fucking knows? Who fucking... That's the angry prediction for the future is who fucking knows? Because I sure don't. So if I ever start making confident predictions, pay no fucking attention to me, because the true answer is I do not fucking know. I have no fucking idea. I just do not know. I don't want him to win. I think in any decent world he wouldn't win, but there's no way I'd fucking bet against him. No fucking way. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I think pundits are worthless. I think opinion polls are worthless. We just have to fucking wait and see what happens. But yes, Fox of Fate, I think I'll go out on that note. The future is milkshakes. Absolutely fucking true. The future is milkshakes. And I'm going to bid you fine and wonderful people farewell on that note. I hope you look after yourselves. Hope you take care. I hope to see you again soon. Pugwash, does Australian politics exist? Yes, I make lots of videos about it. But it's weird and affects none of the world outside of Australia. Which is why I talk about American and British politics, because they affect outside their own borders. Australia only inside the border. Good night, one and all. Take care of yourselves. Thank you for being here and helping to fucking celebrate 13 years with me. I really enjoyed your company as always. But I will say bye for now. Bye-bye.